do my best to show you how you can do a registration form. Not 100% sure on the specifics of this one that I need to create, so it might be a little bit of reading and jumping back and forth, but I'll go as quickly as I can. So I'm going to go to definitions. Well, first off, I've got my event. That's number one. I've created the event that we're registering for. So we've got this junior camp coming at this in the future. And I'm going to go to my forms. And I started creating one just before, but basically create new form, which is going to come up with here. I'm going to type in I-60 junior camp, or you can just call it camp registration form. Or we just leave it like that. The type is forms are always going to be an interaction. That's what we're defining, what the interaction is. And then I'm going to go to interaction settings, and so I'm going to get form information. I'm just going to paste in. This is the information that we want to show up the top of the form. I can choose the payment gateway, choose the main image, and then I'm going to click interaction settings, and I can choose like when it closes and things like that. Now, by default, I'm going to have Mr., Mrs., first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Because there's going to be a multi-person form, I'm going to go to interaction settings. I'm going to untick this, go back to here, and there's not going to be any fields to start with on my form. Now down here where it says more options, I'm going to click that. I'm going to add a contact field. Now this is the first person, we can call this whatever, we can call it camper 1. Now, by default, this will be a contact, and we have a minimum values and a maximum values and an ask count. So this is how many contacts or campers are there going to be. So there has to be at least one camper. We can have it so that you can have a maximum of 2, or we can make it so that you can have as many campers on this form as you like. So we'll leave it at 0, and we'll ask you 1. That'll either be the minimum or the ask count. So if you're expecting 4 or 5 people at a time, you can change that to 5, which means it'll ask you the details for 5, but the minimum amount is 1. So we'll just leave that at 1. Now here I can choose when people fill in this form, the contacts that get created, the campers, which realms should their record be added to. So I can just click here and then say, look, they get added to youth, because this is a youth form. Now the household role, we're also going to tick that as child. So when they get created, they're going to be set as a child. And down here with the detail sheets, just going to choose what kind of questions. These are other detail sheets that we've added elsewhere. I'm going to click medical. We want to know the medical details. And also teams and groups, this can be really handy as well, because we could add them to like the camp group or something like that. So if we went to create new groups, we could create a new group, call it the I-60 Camp 2019 group. People attending I-60 Junior Camp 2019. And just to be explicit, I'll just do that as well. And we'll put that in the youth group as well. So, youth realm, sorry. So, they'll all get added to this group. Now for processes, if you wanted to add them to a follow-up process, we could check that as well, and then these people would get added there. Tags, capabilities, you can do a bunch of other stuff. What I actually want to do here is click create tickets for this contact, which means that when this form is filled in, a ticket will be created for the contact for the event that they're signing up to. Now this is I'm doing a specific one, but if we were doing a general camp form, we could have the camper, and then it'll create a ticket, and whatever registration form with the context of which event they're using it for, we will create tickets for them. But I'll show you how that works soon. But you can actually add tickets so that when you fill in this form, you can set up so that this person gets a ticket to other different forms. So for instance, they could get a standard ticket at the, I'm just going to pick the event, we'll call it camp. So we've got that camp coming up. They fill in the form, they'll get a standard ticket for that. And we can also add expressions. So like if they tick certain things, they get this. Plus you could also say like they get a VIP ticket if something else happens. So you can evaluate the title and write expressions in here as well. But things like this might be like you get a child ticket if the age is less than 5. And they get an adult ticket if it's more than whatever. So there's a bunch of different things you can do there. I'm just going to leave it, create tickets for this contact, and yeah, there you go. So we've got a camper. If I expand this group, you'll see I've got all of the fields. So I've got first name, last name, gender, email address, phone number. I could ask some other questions as well. So it might be like, do you want to do horse riding? And this could be we could just make it like a select box and say you have to answer one of the questions. You say yes or no, and that's another field there. And we could, these question inside the camper box means that every time you add a camper, each camper will be asked that question. Whereas if we want to add a field just to the whole form, like one field at the bottom, which we do, we want to add a discount code option. So I'm going to add discount code here. And we're going to say, okay, the data type is a string, and you don't have to fill in an answer. So minimum answers is 0, but the maximum answers is 1. You can fill up, you can add in up to 1 answer. We've got a discount code field. And then we also might do like a disclaimer or something. So if I want to add some text at the bottom, I can do indemnity term agreement, something like that. And we can change this to a true or false, which is like a tick box. Say terms and conditions, you agree to abide by the conditions of the camp, etc. And we can say they have to tick that box. So the minimum amount of values that they can provide is 1. Okay, cool. So that's the basics of it. I'm now going to go to payments over here. And what we want to do is require a payment for submitting this form. So we're going to put in the base amount. I think it costs $175 this camp. So we're going to say $175, and we're going to put that in cents. And we're going to choose AUD. And the payment gateway is our Stripe integration. And here, if we want to, we can also allow other options so that you could do payment plans or bank transfer, things like that. We're just going to leave it at $175, and then we'll add some payment modifiers. So what we're going to do is add a payment modifier. And this payment modifier, we're going to say camper. Let's call it camper. Now, the modifier is we're going to set the number of, we're going to set the amount, basically. So we're going to set it to 175,000 cents. And we want to do times by, and over here you can see we've got these options. This is all of our fields. So I can click the camper one and see, okay, what do I want to know? I can say the length of the campers list. So data.camper, which is the key of the field camper, length, $175 times that. So it'd be $175 for every camper. Now the condition here, we can say if this payment modifier only applies if data.camper.length is greater than 1. So like as soon as there's 2 campers, this modifier comes into effect. So we could call this the multiple campers thing. And we'll click done. And then we can click save. And then what we can do is we can click test link. And it'll take us over to this test link here, where we can see it asks us about the camper. And we've got $175 down here. And if we click add another camper, what that will do is it will add the multiple campers, and it'll actually change the price to $350 instead of $175. Now, we can make that look a little bit nicer. Rather than setting the price, we can say multiply by camper.length. And that basically means takes the calculated total, which is how much it starts off as being, which we start off at $175, and we times it by the number of campers. So this multiply says multiply the calculated total by whatever this is, and that'll be 1 to start with, and 2 and so on. So if we go back here, we'll actually see we've got the base price for $175. We add this, it'll actually show us multiple campers and have the number. So if we add another one, we'll now get times 3, and so on and so forth. Now, we can also apply some other payment modifiers here. We can say, look, if you, let's call it the family discount, and we can say we subtract $100 if, so $100 is the value, sorry, it'd be 100,000 in cents. The condition down here is if camper.length is greater than 4, more than 4 people. Let's call it that. And if we test the form again, we'll just jump out over here, and we'll see that we've got the camper, we add another camper, we get multiple campers, and that price starts going up. And then we add another one, and we've got 4, and if we add another one, it'll now take $100 off. So we've got the multiple campers times 5, with a family discount of more than 4 people, taking 100, and so on and so forth. So you can do some really complex stuff in here if you need to. I've seen some really crazy ones, but even if we wanted to say set to, and we can say the Jeff discount. Now here we can say subtract $500, and here we go, if we click camper first name, if there's only one camper and it's not a multiple field, this is really easy. You'd pop it open and it would have just like, data.first name, something like that. But because you can have multiple campers, we need to know which one we're talking about. So what I'm going to do is use this, just copy this little expression here. It's going to say match an array, which is going to say I'm expecting multiple campers. If any of them have a first name that matches, let's say, Jeff, and then that'll return an array of people. We want to see if any of those match that. So save this. Go back to our testing form, and here we can go, all right, it's $175, but if I put the name Jeff in, we'll now have our Jeff discount of $500. So because 175 take 500, you can't go to -0. We're just going to basically make it free. Now, if we want to do, we can do all sorts of things like this, but one of the ones straight away would be add a payment modifier, and we could add a discount code. And in here we can say set the price to 0 if, and we just pop it in a discount code, we can get this one. If our discount code equals Disco A, let's say, something like that. Now, if the person types in something like, they type in Disco A or something like that, we also want to match that. So what we're going to do is, if data.discountCode equals, we can just put this in brackets. Sorry, we'll put the other thing in brackets. This is what they're going to type in. And we can just say to lowercase, or to uppercase in this case. And we'll say, look, that means if they type it in and they type in something in lowercase, it'll still match this. So if they do that, it'll set the price to 0. If you want to do a discount of like 10% or something, we can divide by 50 or something like that. Divide by 0.5 times by 0.5, and that would do a 50% discount. So that's how we can do our discount codes, and we can also set the discount codes that apply just by going like this one, $88 off half of camp. We can say half price discount code. That's what gets displayed to the user, and then down here we say disco half, and we divide the price by 2. Now, disco half there. If I save this, go to our form. We'll just reload the form here, and we'll go to discount code, and we'll put that in, and it's done a half price discount code to $87.50. Yeah, and now what we can do is we can go to our form, we can add an image at the top, we can change the display title to something like register now. Whole bunch of nice things. You can add a thank you message, thanks for signing up. We can also send a confirmation email, which will basically say, hey, thanks for signing up. Here's all the details where you can get parking, etc. If you want to, if you click include QR code tickets, that'll actually send the tickets out to the person when they fill in the form, and then you can use them to scan using the Fluro ticketing app. In here with the confirmation email as well, we can say, thank you for my first name, thank you for your registration, we look forward to seeing you at camp. And we can also notify, so we can say whenever someone signs up for the camp, we want to notify Tiani. And let's put myself in there as well. Notify myself. And if you want to, you can send a transaction receipt as well. Might not need to do that. Now here we've got some extra stuff where you can pass the form into a process, all the people into a process, group and team, do reaction pipelines, all other kinds of stuff. But pretty much, I'm just going to save this here. I'm just going to add, I'll leave the price there at the moment. If we click test link, now you can use this test link and fill in the form. So if I fill in Jefferson, do Jeff at fake.com, put the phone number, and do horse riding. Here you can see I've got my allergy information and special conditions. I've put in my disco half discount code. And when you're testing the form, we'll pre-fill with some test details that you can just put in there. I didn't tick the indemnity agreement, so I need to do that. And now I can click submit. And what this will do is it will submit the form. And on the other side over here, we'll be able to go to submissions. And we'll see our, when we use the test link, all of the form submissions will come through as a draft. So you can see there, if I click draft, I can see it in here. All of the transactions that happen as well will be put in through sandbox mode. So it's only the live link that will actually sign up and create active registrations. But if I click this one here, I can see that I paid this much. This is all the details. This is the discount code and all the things that I did. Now, if I click tickets, I've also got a standard ticket to the event. Now, that camp form may have created multiple. If I added 3 or 4 people, you'd see all of the tickets that are connected to this order. But basically what you have is you've got the person. So if I click the person, I can see their profile and I'll be able to see that they registered and bought a ticket for the camp. They've been put into the group. So we've also got that group. I think that's changed behind me. They're now a member of that group. And also in here, we've got the event. So if we click the event, we'll have the list of the registrants for the event with all the tickets. If we click we can also browse through tickets. You can get to that information in a number of different ways and export it to CSV. Also, if I put in my correct details, I would have received the email with the QR code ticket that then can be scanned and then collected. So alternatively, in the admin panel, you can go straight to tickets. And then in tickets, we can go straight to here where we can see the email, the event, and we can collect the ticket just by clicking there, or I'm clicking there, or we can scan the QR code using the Fluro ticketing app. Yeah, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And yeah.